Hi, it's Tim once again from the Indie Bands blog, and this time, just for a change, I'm heading over to the USA, to Philadelphia, a different part of America this time, to speak to Tom Lugo and his wife Jamie. And before we start, I was having a look, and you can't see this because I never actually record the cam bit, but I was looking at their wall behind them. They've got some superb bits of vinyl up there, including a... Is that a Beatles first edition you said you've got up there, Tom?
Yes. It's a first edition Abbey Road vinyl that I have up there on the wall.
Oh, right. Well, we won't give out your address.
Please don't.
Thanks for giving me the time. I know that you're extremely busy with a family for Christmas and New Year, and also the activities you're on. But it was back in September that I introduced to the website a new project with Tom and Jamie called Shishi. And I thought it might be interesting to find out something about how that started.
Okay, great. First off, Tim, thank you so much for the interview as well as the feature on the blog. Greatly appreciated. So, Shishi was a project that my wife and I have been speaking about for quite some time. We didn't have a name for the project at the time, but we had kind of tossed the idea around of starting to make some music together. So I wrote some music, I presented it to Jamie, and Jamie decided that she wanted to do something with it. So I'll let you talk to her a little bit more about what she thought about the songs and whatnot.
Well, thanks also, Tim, for having us. So this is my first public venture into, I guess, music and singing in general. So Tom's traditional music taste and what he's done in the past is something that I know is pretty big in the genre that you guys are accustomed to or that you listen to, and it's something that, although I appreciate the musical level and the type of music, it was just never my cup of tea. And when Tom presented with this type of music, it appealed to me, and I thought it would have more of a commercial appeal and probably branching out a little bit more. And I felt like it's something that I could help out with. So we both write the lyrics. I wrote a couple of the lyrics for the songs, and Tom did, and then eventually he does the editing, and then it becomes the product that you feature on your website.
You said it's your first foray into recorded music. Have you always been a singer, or have you performed previously?
Never.
Well, I thought it was pretty good first attempt myself.
Thank you. Actually, it's interesting because my first taste of loving music was actually The Sound of Music. So Julie Andrews and Christopher Plummer from England. It was just, I don't know, I've always loved it. As you can see from the records that we talked about, I grew up listening to every kind. I think it was kind of cool because I grew up with a family of 10 aunts and uncles, and every single one of them had a different taste in music, and it exposed me to all types of genres. So it was fun to kind of jump into this with Tom and be able to express myself as an individual.
I certainly look forward to hearing how Shishi developed, and in fact I think there was a follow-up video that came out quite soon after your first piece of music. Are you planning on a full EP or an LP or touring or playing, or what's the plans with Shishi?
Right now, everything is kind of in a state of flux, just because we were expecting to receive the attention that we have. I mean, I've been in the scene for quite some time, and been involved in a lot of projects, but what I've seen with this particular project is that that more mass appeal of the sound and how people are actually interested in it, how they're responding to it. So Right now, we're almost done with all of the songs for a new record. Hopefully, we'll have it ready by early 2013. That's kind of my objective. We have a handful of other songs that we need to kind of complete, but for the most part, we're really happy with what we have so far. And little by little, we've been releasing some additional songs just to get people interested, as well as getting an understanding of where we're coming from with our sound. In terms of tours and everything else, nothing right now, in the foreseeable future, but, something that I'm going to be working on for next year is possibly get onto some festivals. I want to stay away from the bar scene. I'm so done with the bar scene. It doesn't do anything for you. And we're no spring chickens either. So we've been around the block a little bit. So it's you just don't want to be hanging out until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning at a bar. For 2 people to actually come out and see you. I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, Tom's speaking for himself with the spring chicken remark.
Well said, Jamie.
Yeah, thank you. But as far as I know, there have been some requests for us to perform with other bands in the new year. So hopefully something will come to fruition in that way, things here and there.
That sounds good. And before people watching, listening to the interview have the horrors, no, we haven't gone all pop and Sony Records over here. Whilst there's an element of commercialism, I would hardly describe it as commercial, but it is certainly more mainstream and very, very accessible. I would definitely suggest having a look at my wonderful review of Shishi and listening to some of their tracks, and I'll put the link at the bottom of the video. So, yeah, good luck with that project. Hope that works well. Speaking of projects, I'm English and can't pronounce half the things that you're involved in, Tom. But back in October 2010 was when we first exchanged conversations, and that was over your then vehicle, which I believe is still going, called Stelloscope. At that stage, it'd been around for 10 years, so that's doing obviously quite nicely. But you're involved in lots of other stuff as well. I always see you popping up, interested in and exploring and finding bands all around the world yourself.
Yes.
What else do you do, and how do you find the time?
It's strange because my passion for left of dial music, that's what I tend to call it, because it's not your normal acquired, it's an acquired taste, so it's just not the normal music that you hear. It really started back in the 80s when I was in high school, just exchanging cassettes at the time. Some people out there probably don't even know what that is anymore, but yeah, we used to exchange like mixtapes, and you buy a record and just put it on a tape and hand it to a friend and say, hey, you got to check this out. You definitely have to buy this album, just based on that. And we all kind of were, my friends and I were into, kind of 2 main sides of music. It was either punk, hardcore music, or the other side was more of the, 80s goth alternative styles of music. So, based on that, I just, was able to kind of explore different types of music, different bands that normally you wouldn't hear about. So that passion's kind of stuck around, and I just continue doing the same thing. I'm always looking to hear new sounds, new things. I get a lot of suggestions, of course, just because I wouldn't say I'm famous, but I'm kind of well known in the scene, so I get a lot of suggestions. And of course, setting up the label definitely helped out with that, because there's so many bands from around the globe that are just looking to have a little helping hand in terms of getting their music exposed. So they're constantly sending you their music, and time off, instead of watching TV or whatever, I like to listen to music and just check them out.
The label, I'm not even going to try and pronounce it. What's the label called, Tom?
It's called Patético Recordings. Patético means pathetic in Spanish. It was a joke that an old friend and fellow musician said about what we did, because we did everything with at home with little machines and did our own recordings, so it was kind of pathetic.
And there's something else that revolves around there, Panaphonic?
Yes, Panaphonic. Panaphonic is my solo project. I actually started it to kind of express what I couldn't with the band. You know, being in a band, there's certain constraints in terms of time and time limitations, just because we're all professionals, we all do our own thing outside of the band, so we get together once or twice a week, make some music, and, you know, I guess it's the ADD, but I'm constantly creating music, and I just couldn't sit around and wait for the band to actually get together to put this music out, and I just started, you know, messing around on my own, just doing everything, you know, playing bass, playing keyboards, playing guitar, doing all the programming and everything, and that's kind of how Panaphonic was born. It was just out of necessity to create more music.
Okay. Well, thanks. That's interesting. I'm glad we've been able to fill in some of the background. We could go on for hours and hours and hours, but that's not going to help anybody very much. So I'm just going to finish off with one final question, which is, what else should I have asked you?
Wow. Almost sounds like a loaded question.
It is. It's one of those scary questions. It sounds so innocent. It's like, oh my God, I've got to answer that.
And it's funny because I tend to overthink things a lot. So, you know, you asked the question earlier, and I had it in the back of my mind, and I still haven't come up with a pure response on that one. But since Jamie's here, I'll let Jamie start on that one, see if she can come up with something. I'll piggyback on her.
Well, I don't put too much thought into anything. So I guess you could ask, who's my favorite Brit? Ask me who my favorite Brit is.
Who's your favorite Brit?
Russell Brand. So if he's listening, I'm here.
Of course he is.
I know, it's totally off the wall. But no, I think, you know, we covered everything, and I think, you know, maybe one of the questions is, what is the expectation that we have, whether it's for Shishi or any of the projects. And I think, you know, speaking on behalf of what I see Tom looking for, it's not so much, you know, everybody goes into entertainment with the hope of fame and fortune and notoriety and worldwide success. And I don't know if that's the case. I think it's more just having the recognition of the art, of the music, and just getting an appreciation out there on a broader canvas for the style that he is so passionate about.
Well, thanks, Jamie. A much better answer than Tom came up with.
Thank you.
I really appreciate your time, and let's finish off with one of your new tracks from Shishi called Anything for You. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks to you.